Today we are visiting a conventional broiler farm. This farm has 4 houses. Each of the houses contain about 25,000 birds. And today we will see how we will inspect the farm. At first, what is very important is to take care of biosecurity. We take disposable overalls or we take an overall from the farm. We also take disposable overshoes in order to avoid intake of pathogens into the farm or spreading pathogens from the farm to other farms. If needed, also showering and food baths with disinfection can be applied. When we enter the house, we first have a good look at the service room. In the service room, we try to assess the general impression of the flock, and therefore we will inspect the chart with all the data on mortality, feed intake, water intake, and also we will check the climate computer in order to see how is the carbon dioxide, how is the temperature, how is the humidity, and what are the thresholds that we want to maintain. We also have at the first look at the flock from outside the house. When we look through the window, we'll try to see the house without the birds being disturbed by entering the house. That is very important to see their normal behavior while they are eating, drinking, flocking together or not flocking together. That is the first step that we take in order to have a good assessment of our broiler flock. See some dirty bags. Let me check again. So when we check the homogeneity, we take about 5 birds flocking together, and we just compare them in terms of homogeneity. You can see that bird again scratching the eye. Okay, let's move on a little bit further. On the edges of the house, we try to inspect the whole house so we don't miss any corners of the house where problems can start. We first look at the footpaths to see if there's no lesions, if there's some dirt also, but these ones are completely impeccable. They're completely clean, so there's an indication that the litter quality has been quite okay over the last few days. Then I look to this chick. It's the fleshing of the chick is very good, so we can see that the muscle, the pectoral muscles are well developed. And also very important, of course, is to check the crop filling. The crop filling we can see here. It should be, of course, there should be feed and water inside. It should not be too hard, because that would mean that they don't have enough of water intake. Yeah. It should be, of course, filled, but it should be like a paste, more or less. And that means that there's a good mixture of water and feed intake. This bird is very quiet. We also look at the nose. Why do we look at the nose? Because if we have some early conjunctivitis and respiratory signs, you will see some shedding of fluids through the nares, and the nares will capture dust, and then you will see that the nose will become dirty. That is one of the first signs you can see when you have respiratory problems. Also, what is very important is the eyelids. So we check also the eyelids to see if there's some conjunctivitis or not, to see if there's some red eyelids or not. In this case also it looks very good. You can also look at the tips of the tongue to see if everything is okay. There's no irritation. What else can we look at? The feathering of the birds. Yeah, it's better seen from the ground, from the floor. The noise that the bird makes. Here in this case, we can hear not any abnormal noises. And also what is a very handy thing is to see if the floor temperature is fine, is to take the foot pads and just bring them to your cheek. Yeah. And they should be quite warm, they should be comfortably warm. If they are feeling cold, that means that also the chicks have cold from the floor. It especially can be a problem at a very young age, when the birds just arrive in the house, where the house has been heated one day before arrival of the chicks. So the air temperature can be quite okay, but the floor temperature can still be too low. That is why, depending on the situation, depending on the house, you are sometimes advised to start heating your house 3 or even 4 days before bringing in the young chicks. But that you can access by checking the foot pads if they are comfortably warm or not. You will not see it by the sensors which are hanging in the middle of the house, because there you're only monitoring the room temperature or the house temperature. Okay.